Hey, Crystal Maiden here, doing post-commentary over one of my favorite Sonic games of all time, Sonic 3 Knuckles. As you can see, I was playing it on the Sonic Mega Collection version. I never liked the title theme of Sonic 3 Knuckles, mainly because the beginning few notes of it, I cannot stand because I would constantly go back to the title screen when I was doing the Mushroom Hill trick to get all the Chaos Emeralds at the beginning of the game. And you have no idea how irritating it is hearing the beginning notes of the title theme over and over again. But yeah, you can see that the plane is still damaged from Sonic 2 because there's a rocket on it. And Knuckles comes in and takes Sonic out of his supersonic form. This is actually kind of explained, sort of, because Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald. Spoilers. And the Master Emerald's power is to neutralize power of the Chaos Emeralds. I hate those spikes! And that's the vine thing that you use to do the level select code in this game. I'll try to show it off later. Oh yeah, and here are the special stages. This is one of my favorite special stages in all of Sonic, because it's actually doable. Imagine that special stage of Sonic game that's actually doable. I do have some big issues with it though. I think it would have been a lot better if they had a radar or something, so that it was a lot harder to get lost. It's really easy to get lost in these special stages, and spend forever looking for those last few spears. And it doesn't help that the camera is always behind you, so it's constantly spinning around you. And a lot of people complain that the Sonic 1 special stages give them motion sickness because of the special stage constantly spinning, and it's got the psychedelic moving background. But honestly, this gives me more motion sickness than anything else. The camera's constantly spinning. And so it's really easy for me to get lost and lose track of where I am, especially because the special stage wraps around itself. Like, you can keep on going forwards perpetually. Like, I like the blue sphere minigame sort of, but it's always really tense, and I'm always incredibly relieved and sighing relief after I beat one of them. Especially because the special stage speeds up after a while. But anyways, Knuckles is guardian of the Master Emerald, a giant green emerald that neutralizes the power of the Chaos Emeralds, so that if anyone gets a hold of all the Chaos Emeralds, something can be done about it. And I hate how long it takes to push that rock, by the way. But anyways, because Knuckles is the guardian of that emerald, it makes sense that he supercharged himself with his power so that he was able to knock him out of super form. And Eggman warned him that he could go into super form ahead of time. Because Knuckles the Echidna, yeah, not only is he, I think he's the only example of an Echidna character in any fiction. To the point where Sega sort of got a copyright over Echidnas in fiction. And normally I'd object to that, I really hate copyright laws, but since barely anyone uses Echidnas anyways, I can understand it. It's a sort of distinctive Sega thing. This was the first game where Knuckles ever appeared, and he was considered cool back then. Like, a lot of people wanted to be Knuckles. And I guess it makes sense because he was strong and stuff, but nowadays later games characterize Knuckles as just being an idiot and the stereotypical tough guy. And this is not the first time that he gets tricked by Eggman into being antagonistic to Sonic. And I would be able to forgive it if it happened at least once again, but it happens 4 times. You fight Knuckles 5 times in the series. Even though Knuckles supposedly becomes Sonic's friend after this game. And I can't help but consider it a betrayal. Like he would take any excuse to fight Sonic. Because Knuckles is Sonic's rival. They've never really gotten along, they have 2 completely different worldviews. Sonic is carefree, and Knuckles is all about responsibility, and both Sonic and Knuckles are stubborn. And And so two stubborn people don't really get along when they don't agree on everything. They're vitriolic best buds, but I never really got the impression that they were best buds to begin with, especially in the games. I don't really know about the comics, but in the games at least, it doesn't really feel like they're close friends. Sonic and Knuckles always argue. I can only name 2 examples of Sonic ever saying anything nice to Knuckles. But yeah, what you're supposed to do with I was pause scumming there. That's how panicked I was. I was pause scumming because I didn't want to screw it up. But yeah, what they don't tell you about this Blue Spear game is that you're supposed to go around the outer edge of groups of blue spears. You're supposed to go around them in a square, and that's how you turn them all into rings. When I was a kid and I first played this game, I would collect every single individual blue spear. And that's not a very good idea. Because I think you could get yourself in an unwinnable situation that way. And the longer you stay in the special stages, the faster they get. So you really want to get them over with as fast as possible. Collecting rings in the special stages will give you continues. And I have a feeling that you can't get continues anymore once you're done with all the special stages. So you really want to get every continue you can. But the thing is that it takes a long time to collect rings in the special stages, and you don't want to be in them for too long because they'll start speeding up and get harder. So it's impressive when you get a perfect in a special stage, but it's also kind of a stupid thing to do. But anyways, I haven't talked about Angel Island Zone yet. I think this is one of my least favorite first levels. Like, I think this should have been the first level of Sonic and Knuckles, not Sonic 3. Because it's too platformy and it doesn't feel very fast. And Sonic 3's level design is mostly fast. Yeah, this is the bubble shield. I love those tubes, by the way. I mean, at least there are some fast sections here. But I don't like the bubble shield very much because, well, I mean, I love the fact that it means that you can breathe underwater. That's perfect, and every Sonic game should have that. But you have to bounce twice with it in order for it to launch you to any acceptable height. And I'm impatient. I don't like stopping and bouncing twice. And it doesn't bounce you high enough to be satisfying and feel like it's really useful. Later they would return to the concept of Sonic being able to bounce upwards with the bounce bracelet in Adventure 2, where you wouldn't need a shield to do it. But they would stop having Sonic have the bounce bracelet in modern games. So they eventually ditched the concept altogether, but they didn't bring back the elemental shields. It sucks how they completely forgot about the elemental shields past this game. I mean, they have them as selectable skills in Sonic Generations, but that's about it. I think they're going to return them in Sonic Mania though. But yeah, I always played this game on Sonic Mega Collection. The only level I played when I was a kid was this one. I loved exploring it with Sonic and Tails. And I always stopped the Hydrocity Zone because I didn't like how it was a water level, and I just assumed water levels suck. I never gave it a fair chance, and now Hydrocity Zone is one of my favorite levels in the game. And yes, I'm gonna call it Hydrocity Zone. I feel like it's a pun on velocity. I mean, I know that it's supposed to be Hydro City, but it feels like a really bland and boring name to me. I mean, they might as well just call it Water City while they're at it. And you know, city, really, it doesn't really feel like a city. I mean, it's not inhabited by anyone. But yeah, I never liked Angel Island Zone, especially not as the first level in the game. I mean, look, there's water everywhere. People complain about Sonic 2 having 2 water levels, but Sonic 3 has almost every level being a water level. You can tell which bonus stage you're going to get by the color of the stars that appear off the checkpoints. If you have 20 rings when you hit a checkpoint, you can enter a bonus stage. And I hate this bonus stage because it's based on Sonic 1 special stage with all of the awkward physics that come with it. I have kind of a hard time distinguishing the light pink stars from the white stars though. But anyways, I just don't like Angel Island Zone. I don't like playing as it. All of the badniks are annoying, especially that one. It's so easy to get hit by the badniks, like the electric flying caterpillar things. I mean, I like that part. But then you get stopped by a wall, and then you have to go to the left. And there's so many spikes everywhere, and look! Disappearing blocks, like it's Scrap Brain Zone all of a sudden. I mean, there's the one thing I love about this stage is that they have this cool, interesting idea where it gets set on fire and completely changes its aesthetic after a while. So it doesn't feel like a boring green hill zone like first level. More Sonic games should do something like that, like switch up the aesthetic after a while. I hate this sound so much, and on emulated versions of the game, on early emulators in 2000s, the sound of this would screw up your speakers. I just hate this sound. But just keep running forwards and you'll be fine. And you can actually prevent, in Sonic and Tails mode, you can prevent Tails from constantly getting hit by those dropping bombs by just constantly jumping. And Tails will constantly jump, and so he'll be able to keep up with you and not get damaged at all. A lot of people like purposely getting Tails hurt though, because again, he's really annoying in Sonic and Tails mode. Because he constantly gets you hurt. A new ability that this game introduced is the Insta-Shield, which completely breaks the bosses of the game. I feel like, well, I'm not certain of that, but I'm pretty sure that deals more damage than just jumping into it normally, so I always do it. It also helps that the Insta-Shield extends your attack range. I've heard that the Insta-Shield in the Advanced series barely extends your attack range at all, but I still always use it against the bosses because I want to deal more damage. Yeah, Knuckles, ironically enough, he's the reason that you're able to progress through the game, because you wouldn't have gotten to Hydrocity Zone in the first place if he hadn't broken that bridge. So, who made the traps? I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Eggman, but the manual of the game says that he knows the island like the back of his hand, so it sort of implies that he made those traps, even though he's supposed to be an idiot. And ironically enough, the manual of this game actually calls Knuckles clever. I mean, that's something you're never gonna see again. Personally, I don't think of Knuckles as an idiot as a whole. I mean, he's clueless and socially inept, but he has every reason to be that way. He was born and raised, well, he wasn't even raised, he had to raise himself. He was alone on Angel Island for his entire life. Yeah, the bubble shield reflects projectiles, and the Insta-Shield was originally intended to reflect projectiles, but due to a glitch, it doesn't. It would have been a lot more useful, although there aren't very many projectiles in this game, unlike in Sonic 2. And this is why I love this stage! Keep holding down here, and you'll keep being in ball form, and so you'll move as fast as possible. And Sonic can run over the water! That's pretty awesome. It really goes to show you how fast you can go. This is easily the fastest water level in Sonic history, and I love it. Although I hate those red badniks, because they can latch onto you, and I have no idea how to get them to stop. And I really hate the cannons. Yeah, it's like the only way to really attack them is to spin dash them. But even that can get you hurt. I hate this section of the level though. And I always hated these things. I always hated them. I have a really hard time reliably jumping up off them. I usually just press A and I get sent off them, and I have to do the section over again. Yeah, I cut there because you didn't want to see me get knocked back by a spring. I love how they handle it with a special stage system where you can find hidden rings that are hidden in the levels. And remember how Sonic 1 had secret rooms behind intangible walls in places like Marble Zone that had extra lives and stuff. This game brings back that concept, and it does it in an incredible way. I mean, this is the only classic Sonic game where I've gotten all of the Chaos Emeralds. You don't really need a guide to find all the emeralds in the game, because you can, after beating the game, you can spam the same ring over and over again to get all the emeralds that way. I mean, in normal playthrough, the rings never respawn. But after beating the game, you can just spam the same ring over and over again. I wish they did that more often. I mean, Sonic Rush sort of had that, because it had special stage entrances in the levels themselves. But you could only get one Chaos Emerald per zone. So what was the point of having multiple different special stage entrances in every act of every level then? What's the point? But yeah, I love this level. I especially love the music of it. I think the best part of it is towards the end. I had such hell with this boss when I first played the game. You can't actually attack it with the insta-shield when it's doing that. Knuckles, his jump sucks, so you're pretty much forced to jump off, to spin dash and jump off the walls to hit him. Yeah, I hate that because it feels like it's wasting your time because you're being forced to move around it. But as I was saying before about Knuckles, has every reason to be socially inept and ignorant. Because he was born and raised on Angel Island with no exposure to the outside world. So I don't blame him for being clueless. I don't like it when they just oversimplify his personality to just being a stereotypical tough guy idiot. I feel like he could have more depth than that. So even though I don't really like Knuckles, especially because he's not a very good friend to Sonic, I still understand him and feel like he could have a lot more depths and be a lot more sympathetic as a character. Especially how Sonic doesn't really treat him that well either, so there could be some insecurities involving that. See you in the next part.